Hello everybody, I'm Sophie and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be just playing around in my sketchbook a little bit. I'm just going to be sketching because, I find myself having a lot of trouble committing to making art sometimes. Even though I love to draw and I find it to be so relaxing, I have good ideas and I'm like, I don't want to waste them on not creating the perfect piece the first time. Because, I always doubt my skill level. And I'm not saying that this piece is going to be great. I'm not trying to make it great. So I'm starting off this piece by just, picking out my materials. These are cheap colored pencils from our local office supply store. So, cheap art supply challenge, if you will. And I'm just picking out a color palette because sometimes with a sketch, you're not even going to like the idea. But the one thing you could take away is just a good color palette. And if that's all you get, that's good enough to, influence some future work, So here I'm lining up some colors that look like they'd be nice together. I don't actually know if they're going to work, but I am going to test them down below here. And hopefully, those will influence my work in some way or just, make it look more interesting. I changed my camera setup from the last video. I am actually recording this on my windowsill, so hopefully the lighting's a little bit better, though that means I am at the whim of the sunlight dipping behind the building in front of me. Today I'm just going to be talking about sketching and what sketching is to me, because I think my sketchbook, and you may see, I may upload a sketchbook tour if anyone's interested when I go back home, which I'll be going home at the beginning of April. I'll probably post a sketchbook tour, with old sketchbooks and stuff. I love to create finished pieces in my sketchbooks, which also stresses me out so much because it means I never want to sketch because I just want the whole book to look perfect. And this was the final page in my sketchbook, and I was like, you know what? I've been putting this off for so long, and there's probably a reason. Let me just get in there and finish the sketchbook so I can start a new one and, get excited to see the progress. Because what I realized when I look through old sketchbooks is from the beginning of the sketchbook to the end of the sketchbook, how much more I love my art style towards the end. And then every single sketchbook looks better than the last one. So I'm not saying this final sketch is going to be better than the first sketches. What I'm saying is that this final sketchbook is so much better than the first sketchbooks I remember keeping, because it's so much harder to see your progress when you're only completing finished works. But when even your sketches are something you enjoy, that says a lot, I think. So here I've picked out this reference photo. I'll put it in right now, of this old couple, and I literally had no idea with what I was going to do. I just loved the photo. So I just looked up old people, old people couple, and this photo came up and I loved it. I thought it was just so precious and I wanted to draw it. And sometimes you just have to create art. I find for me, a reference photo is a great place to start. And sometimes I'll just take a selfie and take a picture or look through my camera roll and just start drawing from that, because I don't want it to look like the final photo. I want to make an artwork. And again, I know I have my problems with realistic art, and maybe that's just because of school and because it takes so much time, but I don't know, I want to create a piece of artwork. I don't want to draw the photo exactly. So with this, I'm just playing around with color. I'm playing around with shapes. I'm, not trying to make it look realistic. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing it like this. And what I normally do when I start sketching, if I'm drawing from a photograph, is I'll take the colors I have laid out and take the lightest one and draw sort of an outline, and then the next lightest and draw another outline, and then at that point it should be a little bit more refined and I can start filling in with some more details. And then what I normally do, just for the sake of consistency, but this isn't necessarily true, is I'll order out the colors by sort of what's lightest to darkest in my head. Like green isn't actually the next lightest color. To me, it looks lighter. So I made that the skin color. And that's normally how I work, is I just pick out the colors, pick out what color I want to associate with which value. So is this blue going to be the equivalent to black or to a very dark color? And that yellow going to be the lightest one I have? I guess so. That's what I'm going to do. And what I try to do is I try and just sketch whatever reference photo I'm starting with, and then I look at the page and I go, do I want to make a scene from this, or do I want to just draw random stuff on this page? And if I show you my sketchbook tours, you'll understand what I mean. Is if I'm making a scene, I'm going to fill up the whole page with illustrations. And this is a great way for me to get into ideas, just to open up my mind, because I'm not like these professional artists. And I'll put in a picture of, I think it's Kim Jong-ji is his name, and he creates these incredible scenes just out of his mind with no reference photos, perfect perspective, everything, and it doesn't even make logical sense how he can do that. I can't do that, but I can do this, and I can think of ideas and think of scenes slowly as I draw one piece by one piece, and how things will interact, and even if it's not perfect, I can do it again. It doesn't have to be with, pen and ink and no mistakes. So when I'm sketching, I either think, am I going to make a scene out of this, which in this one I suppose was kind of a scene, or am I just going to go in it with different materials and draw different shapes and different things and try and make them interact nicely on a page. That's normally how I create art. And so for this one, I just was drawing these old people, and I figured when I'm when I'm done drawing these old people, I will see what I want to do. Either I will draw other things around them and, make some nice layout, or I will create a scene. And so, yeah, I really like this couple, and I find that any other time I probably would have sat there and been like, I really like it, I really want to make something creative and cool with it, let's not draw it till I'm ready. And I thought, what the heck, the picture's always going to be out there, I could just draw it again. I put the reference photo in the description if you want to see kind of what you can come up with this reference photo, because I love just taking a picture and seeing how far I can stretch it. I also have this series in mind, if you're interested, where I will take sort of a picture of a celebrity or just a picture from a music video or just a screen cap from a movie and draw it regularly first and kind of see where my brain takes it, like this. Like I'll take a photo and see what kind of a scene I could create, or I'll create a scene from my memories from a music video or things like that. I know I really ramble in these, but I love watching YouTube videos where it's just somebody honestly talking instead of just reading from a list of notes of what they want to hit in this conversation. I want to be honest, and again, I want to create a community, and that to me is being 100% the way I would be around a friend. And so I'm just recording this one go, straight 15-minute conversation of me talking to myself into my phone. And yeah, so I think my video quality has gotten a little bit higher in this one. I hope so, at least. That being said, you will see that I do lose some footage at the end of this because my phone died. But, and it was starting to get dark anyways, so it's okay. But I think it's gotten better. I will be posting, I suppose, right now every Saturday because I don't work Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, so it gives me at least 2 days before I post to film a video. And again, I really hope by April I can be making a video every day for the month of April, just to sort of push my creativity and see what I can do. And I love pushing myself out of my comfort zone, and I haven't had that in a while. I think I'm done talking about sketching, and I still have 6 minutes left, so I'm just going to talk about my life a little bit. Right now, I am living with my boyfriend, and I could talk about him in another video. He's incredible. In the city of Montreal, which is in the French-speaking part of Canada. I grew up in a very small town near Montreal. It was, a decent distance away. And then I moved to Ontario, and I was living near Toronto. And now I moved back here, and I'm so happy that I'm living here because it makes me realize that I don't want to live my future in a city. I love being here, and it feels so nice being 20 years old and living in a city and everything's here. But I know that in the future, in the next 5 years or something, I want to be in a small community where I know everybody and I have this group of friends and I want to have kids, and I don't know, I can see that from being here. And I think that's something that, again, pushing yourself out of your comfort zone and not staying in the place, because if I lived in my small town the whole time, if I never moved out from that small town and moved to Toronto, then moved here, I would have hated small towns. I didn't want to live there anymore. It gets so tiring after 17 years or something of being in one town, especially a small town. And then I moved to the city, Well, then I moved to the suburbs, and I was like, okay, there's more going on here, but this is just as bad. Get me out of here. Get me to a city. And I moved to a city, and I'm like, you know what? I love it here. I'm not going anywhere. Montreal is incredible also because there's a mountain right in the middle of the city that's completely left natural. It's just woods. And you could hike up the mountain. You could walk up the stairs. There's always a way to get fresh air if you want, right near my house. It's literally a few blocks from my house. I hope in the summer I'll make a lot of videos involving drawing on the mountain and drawing the mountain and just things like that. It's just beautiful. And there's a scenic view at the top, of course. That being said, I want to be in nature. I grew up, a few blocks away from the water and across from woods, and there was cornfields, and now I'm living downtown, and it's incredible, and I don't regret it at all. I'm so happy I'm here, but it makes me realize that I don't want to be here forever, and I wouldn't want to raise my kids in a downtown environment. And I really want to have kids. I've always wanted to. I just think I had that motherly instinct. Anyways, so now what I'm doing, I know I get really off topic. Again, I'm just talking. Now what I'm doing is I sat there for a while and looked at the sketch, and I had this idea that I wanted something long. That was my only thing. I wanted something long going up next to this old couple, just for visual appeal. And I thought, a family theme, let's make this super strange, long-looking son on top of his father's shoulders. I don't know why. So I pulled out this reference photo. I'll put it in now. And I thought maybe I'd have him holding a light over their heads. I don't know why. I just thought it would look visually appealing. And you know what? This sketch isn't beautiful, but I do like the way this kid turned out a lot, actually. I think he turned out really cool looking. As in, the way his body is shaped and the long arms. And I even, I'm not a huge fan of the long legs, but I love just pushing my proportions further. And so, that's what I mean. It's this sketch isn't perfect, and I wouldn't even say it's something that I love or anything like that. But I will say that there's parts of it that I'm going to take in a bigger piece. I love the way this kid looks. I don't know why. It's simple lines. It's the red, the green, and the blue. That color scheme without the yellow there, I really like. And I also just love the stretched out proportions, that long sleeve and the long arm. Anyhow, so basically my phone's going to die in a minute from this. So I'm just going to finish this off by saying, because I got very off topic, I think the best way to sketch, honestly, is just to not care what it turns out like. And I know that's so easy to say. And I'm the worst with this. I will never sketch because I don't want to mess something up. And that's so dumb because that's the point of sketching. It's not a final piece. And not every piece has to be a final piece. And if I like pieces from this, I could just redraw them. I can make a whole scene with these exact people. And the worst thing that happens is I have more experience now to draw it. It doesn't have to be so much pressure the first time to make everything perfect. And so I think if I'm looking at the best way to sketch, I would just say, just don't think so much about making it perfect and just look at a photo you like and put pencil to paper and get your ideas out. Because my only idea here was I want to draw this couple with these colors. I want to draw this old people with these colors. And then I want to draw something long and tall, and I wanted to draw more family dynamic, and this is how this picture came to be. And I'm not saying it's beautiful. I'm not saying it's something I'm proud of. I'm just saying that I got sketching and I got some ideas out, and I'm happy that I forced myself to make art, because sometimes that's what it takes. And now I'm more inspired the next day to make art, and it creates a chain, and you don't know what you'll create because that one day you decided to do something. And that goes for everything. That's not just art. It's just you put in one day's worth of work and you don't know where that one day could take you, kind of thing. So right now I'm just finishing this up. It's starting to get a little bit darker. I don't know if you could see the light, because my apartment building's window is facing another building, and so the sun dips behind it and blocks out all the light. But here's a final image of what the little sketch turned out to be. I hope that you join me and sketch with me, or maybe take the reference photo I used and try and sketch as well. Thank you for watching. I hope you subscribe and keep watching me in the future. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.